Hey there everyone, this is Joe from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, selling you the best bullion bars and coins shipped to you worldwide from Melbourne in Australia. This is your weekly precious metals technical analysis, where we take a look at the big four: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. You know you want to subscribe to the channel. I don't know why you're not, so you know what to do. Hit the big red subscribe button right there. Our latest auction is up for grabs, a Perth Mint Oriana 5-gram minted gold bar. Then we did a recent unboxing of the brand new Perth Mint Super Pit 1-ounce silver coin. We still have a bunch left of those, so you can email us, give us a call, and possibly something else within the next 24 hours. But I'll just leave it at that. Let's go over to the gold chart. This video I think is going to be quite short because we've just been a bit more of a sideways pattern. Same call as last week. I'm just going to still call it neutral for the moment, whether we head up or down. I know some people are thinking it's going to head down, but I've also had people, I've had a couple of large orders today, let me just say that. So there are some people who are confident that it's heading up from here. So, you know, who's right is the big question, I guess. Remains to be seen, but kind of neutral. I think we're definitely in the neutral territory still. So let's just go back 7 days. You can just see just in a very consolidatory pattern. I don't think that's a word, but here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, look, we had that high here of 1535. We've come back up to visit it, but we did not break through it. It was a failed move to break higher, so we had a quick move, a fast move down below 1500, but we're just sort of skirting around here. So if we do, actually, you know what we'll do? We'll pop it into the 4 hour. Maybe that might make it look even better. There we go. That's even better. Let's do a bit of trend line analysis. Get rid of that and try again. As you can see, this is actually going to be similar for silver as well. We're in another pattern right here. In terms of silver, it's much more on the cusp of making a decision. But in gold, we've got a little bit of a ways to go, I guess, before we get to the apex of this corner right here. So could we see a move, you know, back up to sort of your 1510, 1515 level and sort of skirting in between before it makes a decision? Sure. Or we could just drop straight from here or go straight up from here. I'm not a fortune teller, but I'm just sort of giving you the weekly weather report as such, with a, you know, sometimes a bias to the upside or the downside, but this week neutral, same as last week. Pretty much it, I guess, to show. I guess we can talk about the relative strength index. We are at the bottom end of this trend channel right here, this symmetrical triangle pattern. Could we potentially break down from here? Absolutely, we certainly could. But let's look at the relative strength index. We are currently moving towards, but we're not in yet, but moving towards oversold. Not in oversold or really full-on oversold territory like down here, but we're moving in that direction. So once you start getting into oversold territory, sooner rather than later, you get a move back up again. In general, it's not you know, the case every single time, but we're starting to, as I said, get into the oversold territory at the moment. But I would not be surprised of a move down or just a break up from here. It's really, for me personally, it is neutral. But let's have a look at the weekly. What would the weekly suggest? And actually, maybe we need to get rid of this and that. On the weekly, looking on the weekly time frame, it would look possibly, with this red candle as it is right now, that if I was a betting man, I don't want to say either way, but look, that does seem to suggest possibly further lower prices, but we've all been faked out before. It's happened where you've seen this kind of setup and then you think it's going lower and then it doesn't. So again, I'm going to stay neutral. So that is gold. I'm not going to worry about the gold in Australian dollars for this week because we're just in a we're consolidating. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sure someone can correct me and give me the correct word. So let's look at silver. Slightly, it's the same but slightly different. And what I'll show you, what I mean by that is, let's pop into the daily. Still, we have been sort of consolidating sideways, but if you'll take a look at this pattern, and I'll show you here on the 4 hour, we are about to make the decision, I think. It's about to happen either way within the next 24 hours, I think. So I'll show you what I mean. Pop in that one right there. And we pop in this one right here. And as you can see, we are getting really, really close to this area here. And we never, ever, ever get to the absolute corner before making a decision. It always breaks up or down around this kind of area here. We're getting really close to it. So if I show you on the daily, you can see, yeah, if we show you on the daily, look at that. You can see we're right there. So this price is going to make a decision either way within the next, I would say, probably 12 hours. So overnight for us here in Australia, it's going to make that decision, or before then, quite possibly. Are we going to break up or break down? Now, because we're at the lower end right here, it would suggest possibly that we're breaking down rather than breaking up, but I do want to keep it neutral for now. As I didn't mention before with gold, in terms of, I normally talk about price targets, but what I'll get you to do, I've mentioned them I mentioned them in my video from last week, and I have drawn in these levels here. So what you can do is you can pause the video, go back to the gold one, pause the video, look for these horizontal lines, and they're my next targets, you know, moving down and moving up. Although I did last week talk about if we do have a quick drop in silver, we'd be looking at around about the 1660 mark. So just for continuity's sake, let me just pop in a little one there, so you can pause that and have a look. And then moving higher in silver, I did mention, oh, look, I should just pop them in, shouldn't I? I did mention last week, I don't know why I didn't pop them in. I did mention this somewhere between 1770 and somewhere between 1820 were the next levels I thought we'd hit as we go higher. So that's for silver. Go back and have a look at them for gold. I won't do silver, as I said, in Australian dollars either. So let's have a look now. It's a really quick one, isn't it? Let's have a look now at XPT. That would be the platinum. And let's have a look on the daily. Actually, I just want to check on the weekly where we are on the RSI. We're getting into, well, starting to move into almost oversold territory, but not quite there just yet. That's on the weekly time frame though. On the daily, we've still got quite a bit of room to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, around about here. Last time saw a dip. Now I did call a dip. I didn't call the dip. What I said, sorry, is if we broke down from here, it would be this level here, which I think would be a level of support at around about 830. And lo and behold, we did nearly touch it. What, about 833? I think it was 833.50. So I'm going to call that pretty much on the money. So these are, these horizontal lines, these points of, you know, previous resistance and support are very good indicators of where the prices are going to go in the short to medium and even the long term as well. So just really simple horizontal line. You just find some key points. So like for this one here with the 830, it was this point here was a level of resistance. This point here, this point here, this point here. You find a few. So, for example, let's do one on the fly right now, just out of interest. While I'm here, since this is not going to be a massively long video, we may as well do some other stuff. Let me get rid of that. So, horizontal line, right? So let's just look for any kind of price. We'll just look for one moving higher. So through there, well, that's interesting because you've got, if you can see, you've got 1, 2 and 3, but that's not bad. What about there? No, I wouldn't call that. I wouldn't call that one necessarily. I would say that one's for sure. Well, you can definitely see that. See, you can see 1, 2 and 3 back here. Any back there? No, see, I would be very confident in putting a line right there. So moving higher, whenever that is in platinum, we could see whenever that's going to be, that would be about 1290 as resistance. I think you would see that because again, 1, 2 points there, a level of resistance there, a level of support there, and a couple of levels of resistance there as well. So I would call that one. So that's just how you do it. You find levels where you know, there's matching levels throughout time. Okay, so that is platinum. Let's go back down. I will get you to pause this video again. I'm going to stay neutral on this one, and just pause the video, and you can just look at my horizontal lines and you can see the corresponding prices for my price targets moving up and my price targets moving down. And of course you have to take into account this symmetrical triangle pattern right here, still very much within it. We got to get a little bit closer. Let me pop out, got to get closer to the corner before we make a decision. I think it's not going to be, maybe I'll make a little call here, I don't think it will be until approximately the start of November, roughly, until we make a decision either way, definitely that we're heading further down here or heading up from here. The very apex is like the end of the year, but I'd say by first to middle of November is when we're going to see the price decision make a decision either way, if that makes sense. So that is platinum. And lastly, let's take a look at our good old friend XPD. Right here, look at this. I drew this in last time. That's in the monthly. Let's take a look at the weekly. Yep, definitely still within this ascending triangle pattern right here. So we have yet to break down, so I'm still going to call it neutral for the moment. And again, you can pause for my price targets, although I don't think I've done them in this one. I've just been talking about the upside, haven't I? So we can talk about the upside. As I've mentioned before, upside, the psychological value of 2,000. This is more for people if you're watching these videos for the first time. If you've been watching, if you are a subscriber and you've been watching these videos regularly, you know I've called for the $2,000 psychological value many times before. And then we've got that Fibonacci level of 2,650 roughly. That's a little bit down the track though. On the monthly, looks like we're just in a consolidating pattern at the moment. We have still yet to break down. If we break down further from here, you'll be looking, as I've mentioned before and last week, a couple of weeks, the double top pattern where we come up, come back down, come back up, make the same high, and then break back down to here. If we break down through this level right here, it is down, 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 down we go. I've mentioned before, 1100 to 1150 would be your rough bottom there, I think. That, I think, is it, ladies and gentlemen. Gold to silver ratio, let's have a quick look at that, may as well. Seeing as though we're here and we've got a bit of time up our sleeves. Gold to silver ratio is at about 88. I am still calling, I think, personally, for a 1 to 100. I think we're on our way up there first before we head back down again. Now, that's just my personal opinion, and don't take anything I say as financial advice. Lastly, I just wanted to quickly mention this this little article right here, why gold could reach $10,000. And that's a call by Mr. Jim Rickards. He was in Australia just this week, actually, giving a talk. It was at the ABC Melbourne conference up in Sydney. So the ABC Australian Bullion Company conference up in Sydney. Now, he was the guest speaker. He was talking about gold hitting a price of $10,000 US. He sees that coming in the next 5 years. I'll put a link to this article in the info section of this YouTube page as part of the pinned comment. But our esteemed owner, Michael here from Bullion Now, owner of Bullion Now, he actually attended that conference and attended the event and saw Jim speak about it. So Michael will probably do his own little piece to camera maybe later this week or next week, talking about his experience at the conference and talking about what Jim Rickards said and his feelings on it too. So look out for that video. It'll be probably part of Michael's mini rants, as we call them. And lastly, as I was giving a bit of I alluded to before, for our regular esteemed subscribers, you may want to, if all goes according to plan, you may want to be around your computer or your phone at approximately 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Why? I'm not going to say, just in case it doesn't happen, but you just may want to be around your phone, just have access to your phone. We're actually going to post a video around that time as well. So look out for a notification tomorrow for a video coming for us around about 9 a.m. tomorrow, maybe a tiny little bit beforehand, because something special might be happening. I said might be, if all goes according to plan. You guys probably already know what it is, but I don't want to give it away just in case. All right, that's it, gang. Hit the big red subscribe button and join the family. Take care, and we'll speak to you soon.